Hello folks, and welcome to today's vlog. And this is a vlog that we didn't want to have to make. As you can see, we're back in Nottingham, and based on what we've been saying on the vlog over the last few days, you can probably gather that being back in Nottingham isn't good news. And Anna's mum passed away 3 or 4 hours ago now from the time I'm recording this. It's about 11 o'clock on Tuesday night. We've just got to the hotel. Andy's got himself on the bed and is playing on his iPad again. And yeah, we got a phone call probably around about lunchtime today, 1ish, would you say? About 1 o'clock today we got a phone call saying that she'd had a stroke. We had to get there and then. There was no time to spare. We threw bags together super quickly. We went and got Andy out of school, drove over to Nottingham. We got here probably about 4 o'clock and got 3 hours before she was gone. So everyone got a chance to say goodbye. Andy, bless him, had everybody in tears because he still doesn't understand what's happening. We've been reading about it. We've tried to be quite blunt with him about it and just literally say Mammar's dead, and he's repeating that back to us, but he doesn't understand what it means, and we don't really know how to explain it any further. There are apparently some good books out there and some good resources that we need to look into tomorrow. Obviously we've not had a chance to today. It's just been a crazy busy day, but he had everybody in tears because his version of saying goodbye to her was basically bye-bye Mama, have a nice weekend, and then he walked off. And just the nurse who was in the room at the time was just like choked up when he was saying it, because he just doesn't understand what's happened. Obviously this isn't going to be a long vlog. We might not be doing a vlog tomorrow. I don't really know yet. We'll see how things go, see how we're feeling. But what I did want to do as part of this is just answer the questions that everyone, just tell you what's happened, how we got to this point, because she didn't want us to talk about it while she was still fighting it, but after it was finished she was comfortable with us doing it, whether it finished positively or negatively. She just didn't want the speculation and explanation getting out there while she was still fighting it. So if we go all the way back to, I mean, we're talking nearly 10 days ago, it must be 10 days ago or so now, right back to the very beginning of this story. She had, was it the Friday or the Saturday night she had the burger? Friday. So it's Friday night, so we're going back 10, 11 days. Friday night she had burger and chips takeaway. Completely normal evening. She was fine, completely happy, completely fine. Had a burger and chips, but at some point during that, one of the sesame seeds that was on the bun, she managed to inhale it and get it into her lung, which over the course of going to bed and being asleep quickly developed into pneumonia in her chest. The pneumonia then caused her to sleep in the morning, which then sent her into a diabetic hypo, which meant when Anna's brothers tried to wake her up on Saturday morning, she wouldn't wake up. They had to like really shake her to wake her up. And when they finally did wake her up, like really shaking her to get her to wake up, panicked, she just threw up everywhere and couldn't stand up, didn't know what was going on, went straight into hospital then on the Saturday, at which point we thought it was just a hypo. That was, he says just a hypo, I mean that's obviously still a big deal, but not as potentially life-threatening as everything that came next. So we didn't immediately rush over at the weekend. We didn't end up coming over until Monday, as you saw in last week's vlog, because on Monday, after she'd been in hospital a couple of days, she had a heart attack, which was the 5th heart attack that she's had in the last 12 months. She's had a lot of heart problems. But this was a big one, and it absolutely knocked her for 6. And that's when we came to Nottingham last week, and at that point we were all worried that she wouldn't make it through. And she did survive the heart attack, but as part of the combination of the heart attack and the hypo and the pneumonia, her kidneys then went into kidney failure, so she was on dialysis for most of last week whilst still trying to recover from a heart attack. And we basically got to the situation by the end of last week where they were experimenting with different ways of doing the dialysis because they needed to put a stent in her heart. Her heart wasn't pumping enough blood around. She'd had 5 heart attacks in a year. She needed a stent putting in her heart, but they couldn't put a stent in her heart until they could get her kidneys working again. So they were doing everything they could to kickstart her kidneys with dialysis and flushing her through with fluids and all sorts of things like that to try and get her kidneys working, because in order to put the stent in, they need to inject her with dye so they can see what's going on in the heart. But the dye that would go into her heart would be poisonous in her kidneys, and with her kidneys not working, just the act of having the dye put in so that they could put the stent in her heart would kill her. Her kidneys would just fail and she would have died as a result. So they were kind of in a circling pattern, waiting for the kidneys to start working again so they could fix the heart. And when we came home last week, that's where things were left. She was also, as part of all this, having blood thinning medication because they were worried about blood clots, because she's got a history of that, and with all the other issues and with the fact that she was stuck in bed. But she was gradually improving as the week went on. By the time we left last week and came home, she was talking again, laughing and joking in bed. When Anna came back at the weekend, she was fine. They were chatting. She was still a little bit confused because the kidney failure causes confusion, so the worse her kidneys were functioning, the more confused she got. So she spent a lot of last week convinced she was in prison, which obviously we explained that she wasn't. But she seemed to be recovering, and when Anna left on Saturday evening after being here visiting, she even spoke to the consultant then and said, look, can I go home again? I've been here a couple of times this week already. This is the second time I've come back. Is it okay for me to go home? Is she in immediate danger? And that's when we put out quite a positive vlog, because the response was, she's fine. She's going to be a couple of weeks, but she's gradually improving. Her kidney function is gradually improving. Everything else is gradually improving. We're going to get to the point where hopefully we'll be able to put this stent in. We need to get everything else fixed first. And it was all quite positive stuff. But I guess today her body had just had enough, and the stroke was the final straw. It paralysed one side of her body instantly. She never woke up from the stroke and passed away like 7 or 8 hours after she had it. So she fought hard. She fought everything that was thrown at her until she just didn't have enough fight left for the final straw. And it's obviously it's still very raw. It's still, I know it might sound like it's been a long time coming with all of the stuff, but it still feels like a shock because we've seen her fight so much stuff off in the past. Like I said, it was the 5th heart attack that she'd had in a year. The woman was bulletproof, but just not quite enough in the end. So we're now back in Nottingham, back in the hotel. I don't know how long we're going to be here for. None of us have any experience of doing this kind of thing. When my mum died, I was like 22, 23. My dad handled everything. None of Anna's brothers have ever, none of us know what to do next. We know we've got to go back to the hospital tomorrow. We know Andy wants to do his normal Nottingham stuff tomorrow, which I've already explained to him he's not going to do, but we'll see how that goes. And then I guess we need to all figure out together how you plan a funeral, because none of us have ever done that before either. So it's going to be a pretty rubbish week. And as ever, we massively appreciate all of the well wishes and stuff that have been coming our way over social media since we announced again yesterday or earlier today for us, that we were having to rush back to Nottingham. If I can ask you all a big favour on that though, the information we've shared now, that's it. We don't need any further speculation. We don't need any more questions. We're not going to share any more information than we already have about it. And also, Anna would appreciate it if, as much as it's nice to receive all the messages, it would be appreciated if you kept the messages to the comments on this video or on other videos as well. But please don't bombard Anna's Twitter and Instagram and Facebook with loads of messages. As well-meaning and as nice as it is, they come up as notifications on her phone, whereas YouTube comments I can just show her, and it'd be nice just to have that little bit of separation from it. We know we could just turn notifications off, but hopefully we won't have to, because that's how she's communicating with her close friends and family. So fantastic that you want to show your support. We do appreciate it, it does help, but if you could keep it to the comments on the video, that would be much appreciated. But we all need to get to bed and work out what to do tomorrow. Thanks for watching.